Hey guys, in this month's top 5, I'm going to be sharing with you my 5 favorite werewolves. I can't believe I have gone all of these many years doing booktube and I have never done a top 5 of my favorite werewolf characters. uh, I guess maybe I have never really done one of these videos before because I don't tend to read a lot of stuff about werewolves. I guess I guess, but I did. I managed to hunt down 5 characters that I really like who are werewolfish to some degree. Whether they do kind of have the classic tropes of being like a werewolf, or they have maybe more of like just a wolfish tendency. There doesn't necessarily really have to be like a total transformation of being a werewolf, I suppose. You'll kind of see that as I get through some of these characters, kind of what I mean by that, because some of the characters might kind of have more of that classic werewolf thing going on, and then other characters don't. It kind of just plays with it a little bit. So yeah, these are my top 5 favorite literary werewolves, you guys. I didn't really have too many to kind of pick from once I kind of started looking through everything, because it kind of took me a little while to hunt down 5, but these are the 5 that I do genuinely like. First up, I have the character of Lord Macon from the Parasol Protectorate series by Gail Carriger. These books take place in a steampunk kind of alternative version of Victorian England. Our main character, her name is Alexia Terabati, and her special supernatural gift is that she can render supernatural beings as soulless. And essentially what she does, she can kind of just touch somebody. For example, like our character of Lord Macon, he's a werewolf. She can touch him and he won't be able to like shift and turn into a werewolf, if that makes sense. So she has that power that supernatural beings, whatever their special gift or talent is, she touches them and they won't be able to do whatever that gift is. So yeah, the character of Lord Macon, as you can't tell, he's a lord. He's a lord. He is the primary and only love interest of our heroine, Alexia Terabati, in this story. I love Lord Macon. He's a gorgeous man. He gets, you know, a little fuzzy every so often. It's okay. He has definitely his own personality that a lot of times clashes with Alexia, which is what makes them really intriguing to read page after page, and how their relationship grows and develops. I really enjoy Gail Carriger's kind of interpretation of werewolves in this universe. I do think there is something that is very just kind of classic about it. She kind of has her own little unique spins here and there with them, but for the most part, it is very classic werewolf. You know, people turning into a wolf of some sort, a transformation, if you will. Yeah, the werewolves, like, they have their own unique society, and how they've built up over the years and whatnot, their own little factions. It's very faction based. It's like you have your group here, you have your group there, you have your alphas and your betas, you know. There's definitely a hierarchy within the world of the werewolves and whatnot, since this is taking place in Victorian society and whatnot. So yeah, the werewolves in this are definitely really fun, really charming, definitely a lot more comical than what you might be expecting. This is definitely a very comedic type of series. Next up, obviously, I had to include Jacob Black from the Twilight series in this list. I specifically chose the second book in the series, A New Moon, because this is where Jacob really comes into play, like, in full a lot more. Let it be known, you guys, I am definitely more Team Edward. I am definitely a Team Edward person. I was never really a Team Jacob person. I did always feel really bad. I had a lot of sympathy for poor Jacob. But yeah, I was always a Team Edward girl, you guys. But yeah, Jacob Black. I really loved Stephanie Meyer's interpretation of werewolves in this universe, because there's nothing really cliche about them at all. Um, Jacob Jacob is a character. He is part of like a Native American tribe. I can't really remember which tribe he's part of, but he's Native American. He's rather really traditional in some sense when it comes to kind of this Native American lifestyle in this book. What's presented anyway, and what I love about Stephanie Meyer's interpretation of werewolves is that it's all very heavily rooted in Native American like lore and mythology and whatnot. Um, the Native American characters in here, including Jacob himself, when they shift and change and whatnot, there's just such great like I said, lore and mythology involved in that. A great background and great backstory to that, and the characters, they all have a great connection to that. You know, they have a huge connection to their past and to their history, and I really love that. Um, um, they just have a really particular way of life and just a weight and responsibility that they accept in turning into these kind of werewolf type characters and whatnot. So yeah, Jacob definitely had to make the list for sure. He's a cute little werewolf, you guys. Cute little, squishy little werewolf. Next up, Luke Garraway from the Mortal Instruments series. I really adore Luke from this series, you guys. What I like about Luke, you know, because I think a lot of times when you think about werewolves, sometimes the first thing that comes to mind is you think of someone who's like a badass, you know, someone who's really muscular, um, maybe a little brutish on occasion. But the thing is, Luke Garraway, he has none of those things. He's none of those tropes. He's none of those cliches. Luke is actually what I remember, how I kind of remember him being described in this book. He's really scrawny. He's a really scrawny, nerdy looking guy. And yeah, if I'm remembering correctly as well, he like owns a bookshop in the first book in this series. He's a bookshop owner. He just wants a quiet, simple life. He's not there for craziness and action and adventure. If he could just sit in a corner with his books, he'd be fine. So that's why I really like Luke. It's like Luke is like a werewolf version of me, I feel like. He just wants a quiet life with his books, you know. Yeah, he's not like the other characters in this book at all. You know, you have all these really hot masculine dudes in here, and Luke is just kind of not that. You know, he has his own quietness, his own charm and charisma that's just far more appealing than some of the other guys in this series, to be quite honest. And yeah, the way werewolves are described in this series, you definitely get the idea that transforming into a werewolf, it's kind of a really painful experience. It seems like it's something you do not want. You definitely do not want this gift. So yeah, I definitely like Luke from this series. He's just so charming. I love him. At number 2, I feel like I cheated a wee bit with this, you guys. I guess I'll kind of explain. Like I said, I was having a really difficult time finding werewolf type creatures. So, like I said, I feel like I cheated a tiny bit here, kind of nudged it in my favor a little bit. But I have the character of Wolf. This is from the 10th Kingdom by Catherine Wesley. Let me give you some background here, you guys. In case you're not part of my generation and you have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. Back in when was it, guys? Was it the very late 90s or early 2000s? I'm trying to remember. There was a fantastic, wonderful miniseries that came out. It was called The 10th Kingdom, and it was about like a young woman named Virginia and her father who live in like modern day New York. Something happens and they go to like the world of fairy tales. Essentially, the world of fairy tales becomes legit and real and genuine. um and there's like a great evil and things that they're kind of doing, and they have to restore the world of the fairy tales. And yeah, the 10th kingdom, there's like a mysterious 10th kingdom or whatever. And one of the characters that joins them on this journey through the fairy tale realm is a character who is simply just named Wolf. And he is supposed to be obviously like the wolf of the Red Riding Hood story or the Three Little Pigs or whatever, you know, wherever a wolf is portrayed. So this book actually came out, I believe, after the miniseries. This is like just a novelization of the miniseries. This book was not written first, and then the miniseries like adapted this book, you know. So that's what I'm saying. I feel like I kind of cheated a little bit because this was not published first. This was published after the miniseries. But still, I felt the need to include it in this list nonetheless. Yeah, the character of of Wolf. Oh my god, I love him. I adore him. I feel like he was maybe perhaps one of my very first crushes. I love his character. Um, he's a character the entire time. He actually never changes into a wolf. That's important to know. He never actually changes into a wolf. The only things that ever happen to him, like his eyes will glow yellow, depending on his mood and what's happening. Like his tail, he does have a tail that will come out from behind his pants. Like his tail will come out. He might like get some claw. I think he gets claws every so often. But yeah, he never actually changes into like what you would typically know as like a werewolf or a wolf or whatever. So yeah, he is definitely much more human in nature with wolfish tendencies. But yeah, I love and adore his character. He's a character who really struggles with that wolfish side of his nature. He's someone who desperately is eager to please. He wants to do good. He struggles with kind of his good side, with his dark side. Um, um, he really struggles with controlling the darker elements of himself. Yeah, like he sees something and he's like, "Ooh, that looks tasty." You know, like especially if they like see a sheep or something, sheep or whatever type of food. You know, he instantly kind of goes into wolf mode and he's like, "Oh, I gotta go hunt that down and kill it." You know, so he's a very comedic character, but there's also kind of that darker part of his character that he really struggles with, and I think out of all the characters from this book and the miniseries, he has some of the best character development and character growth, and I just love him immensely. So yeah, anybody else, did you watch that miniseries? And yeah, like I said, there's this nice book adaptation as well, which is really fun. It's pretty much word for word what you get from that miniseries. But yeah, anybody else, did you watch the 10th Kingdom miniseries? Because it's like one of my favorite all-time miniseries ever. And at number one, I have the character of Wolf. Sometimes people are just not very creative with character names, are they? But yeah, the character Wolf from Scarlet. This is book 2 in the Lunar Chronicles series by Marissa Mayer. Um, okay, first of all, the plot synopsis of this general overall series. Um, this is these books, the Lunar Chronicles, are fairy tale retellings of a sort, but like in a sci-fi scenario. For instance, in the very first book, that's focused on Cinderella, and she is a like a cyborg type of character. She's very robotic. And then yeah, you have like even the character of Rapunzel in one of the later books, and she's like, instead of being stuck in a tower, she's stuck in like a spaceship up in space or whatever. So yeah, these books, they're fairy tale retellings, but with a sci-fi twist, which is absolutely so gripping and fun and whatnot. So yeah, it's like fairy tales meets Star Wars, if you will. So yeah, like I said, the second book is called Scarlet, which is pretty much a Red Riding Hood retelling. And yeah, you have your main character of Scarlet. I believe, right, she works at a restaurant, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, through a series of events, she meets this character named Wolf, and there's some things going on. He needs her help to do whatever, you know. Oh, her grandmother, that's right, her grandmother has gone missing. Good Lord, a lot of the plot is coming back to me, you guys. I feel like I should have read the plot synopsis to remember what this happened in this book. But yeah, that's right, her grandmother goes missing. So yeah, Scarlet and Wolf team up together to go rescue her grandmother. I really love the relationship between Scarlet and Wolf in this book. You know, like I said, it's Red Riding Hood and the Wolf. They have such a great relationship with its ups and downs, and yeah, this is an example of another character who's not your typical traditional werewolf type character. He doesn't really like transform, because like I said, these books have a sci-fi slant to them, and on the moon, there's the moon has been colonized in this world, and so people live and breathe on the moon. And up on the moon, like the evil queen character, she has created like this whole werewolf army, and it's pretty much all men who have been like genetically enhanced. They're like hybrid creatures of a sort, and the way they have all been kind of genetically enhanced, their features are very wolfish and whatnot. So yeah, the character of Wolf, he is definitely one of these genetic engineered people, And that kind of it kind of makes him into a killer, and he really struggles with that aspect of himself, that he has to control that more killer nature of himself. And yet he really grows to really like the character of Scarlet, and he really wants to help her, and he's starting to fall in love with her and everything. So I really like the character of Wolf in this. He's a bit of a bumbling idiot on occasion. He's not the most smartest of characters, but yeah, his love and devotion to Scarlet is what you adore about him. So yeah, it makes him a really fun, interesting character. So you guys, that is it for my top 5 favorite werewolves or wolfish type people of some sort, in the comments below. Do you guys like any of these particular characters? Maybe I have left one of your favorite characters out. If there's a werewolf from literature that you like, definitely please share with me down below. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye guys.